Visual, dark background, glowing digital coins and paper notes crumbling into dust. Narrator, serious tone. Every dollar in your wallet, every rupee in your account, every digital number flashing on a screen is not money, it's debt. But debt to whom? And how did a tool meant to help trade become a weapon that rules nations, enslaves generations, and quietly owns your future? Today, we shall uncover the hidden blueprint, the secret architecture of money, the system designed not to create wealth, but to control it. Section 1. Origins, the birth of debt. 1-1-3. Visual, ancient temples, clay tablets, early traders exchanging goods. Before money, there was trust. In ancient Mesopotamia, 5,000 years ago, farmers didn't pay in coins, they paid in promises. A clay tablet recorded a debt. You owe 30 measures of grain. That was the first receipt of value, the ancestor of modern money. But here's the twist. Money didn't start as a tool of freedom. It began as a record of who owed who. As kingdoms rose, rulers realized something powerful. If you could control debt, you could control people. And so debt became the invisible chain of civilization, stronger than any sword. Section 2. The first money empires, power through promises. 3015 Khan. Visual. Ancient Rome, gold coins, temples filled with treasures. Rome mastered this architecture. The empire built roads, armies, and temples using borrowed silver from its citizens, promises written on parchment and backed by faith in the emperor. But when Rome overreached, the truth surfaced. Gold was limited. Promises were infinite. To keep the machine running, they debased their currency, melting gold and mixing it with cheaper metals. Each new coin looked the same but carried less value. Sound familiar? That's inflation, and it began over 2,000 years ago. When the empire fell, so did faith in money itself. But the idea that rulers could create wealth from promises never died. It evolved. Section 3. The bankers and the birth of modern debt. 5017-30. Visual, Renaissance Europe, goldsmiths, vaults, paper notes. Fast forward to the 17th century. In London, goldsmiths kept people's gold safe and issued paper receipts in return. Soon, those receipts began circulating. People traded promises instead of gold. Here's the genius, or the trick. Goldsmiths noticed most people never asked for their gold back, so they began issuing more receipts than gold existed. For every ounce of real gold, they printed 10 receipts, creating money out of thin air. This was the birth of fractional reserve banking, the system that allows banks today to lend what they don't actually have. It was the moment debt became the engine of the economy. Section 4. The Central Banking Revolution. 73110. Visual, Bank of England, founding documents, portraits of elites. In 1694, the Bank of England was born, the first true central bank. It was created not by the people, but by private lenders who lent money to the government, at interest. From that moment on, nations could wage wars they couldn't afford, fund empires they couldn't sustain, all by borrowing from their future. Every dollar spent was a dollar owed. Every generation was born deeper in debt than the last. Over the centuries, other countries followed. The model spread: France, America, Germany, Japan. Every national bank was built on the same blueprint. Create debt, call it money, charge interest forever. Visual 20th century footage. Nixon, Bretton Woods, collapsing gold bars. After World War II, the world agreed to a new system, the Bretton Woods Agreement. Every currency was pegged to the US dollar, and the dollar was backed by gold. It was meant to be stable, but it didn't last. By 1971, America had printed more dollars than it had gold to back them. So President Richard Nixon did something no empire had ever dared. He cut the link between money and gold. From that day forward, money was backed by nothing, just trust and government decree. We call it fiat currency, Latin for Let it be done. And just like that, the dollar became the world's debt. Section 6. The Global Debt Web. 13.1.16 key. Visual. Modern skyscrapers, stock markets, digital numbers spinning rapidly. Once the link to gold vanished, debt exploded. In 1970, total global debt was around $3 trillion. Today, it's over $300 trillion. That's more than 35 times the value of all the gold ever mined. Here's the cruel irony. Every dollar, euro, or yen you hold is someone else's liability. When banks lend, they create new money. When you repay the loan, the money disappears, but the interest remains. That means the system requires perpetual debt just to survive. Without borrowing, the economy collapses. So governments borrow endlessly, and central banks lower interest rates to keep the illusion alive. The result? The rich own assets, the rest own payments. Debt has become the master, and humanity its obedient servant. Section 7. Modern Parallels. The Digital Trap. 1601-19. Visual. Crypto coins, QR codes, digital wallets, central bank meetings. Today, a new chapter is unfolding. Digital money. Central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs, promise convenience and security. But behind the promise lies the perfect surveillance tool. When money is digital, every transaction is traceable. Every dollar can be frozen or programmed. You won't own your money, you'll borrow permission to use it. And once again, debt will evolve, from paper to data, from invisible chains to digital ones. History is repeating, only this time faster, and with algorithms instead of emperors. Section 8. The Paradox of Wealth, the End Game of Debt. 1901-21 Tan. Visual. Contrast of poverty and luxury. Wall Street, hunger, skyscrapers. Today the global economy grows, but only through credit. Governments issue bonds, banks lend, consumers spend, all with borrowed money. It's an endless circle feeding itself until the bubble bursts. The poor owe money they can't repay. The middle class owes money they can't escape. And the ultra-rich own the debt itself, the safest asset in the world. When you own the debt, you don't need to conquer nations. You simply collect interest from their future. This is the secret architecture of money, not built on gold, not on labor, but on belief and control. Section 9. Takeaways. Lessons from the architecture. 21:1-23 So. And money is not wealth. It's a claim on your future labor. The more debt you carry, the more control the system has over your time and freedom. 2. Every financial crisis is not an accident. It's a reset. When the system nears collapse, the rules change, but the game stays the same. Gold, paper, digital, only the form evolves. 3. True wealth is independence. Real value lies in ownership of skills, resources, and time, not numbers in a database. Ending. 23:01-24 Sum. Visual. Fading dollar, clock ticking, storm clouds forming, narrator, serious tone, debt built nations, and it may also destroy them. The architecture of money is beautiful, powerful, and dangerous, because once you understand it, you see the illusion for what it is. The question is, what will you do with that knowledge? If this story opened your eyes, don't let it end here. Subscribe, share, and join the discussion, because the next chapter of money is being written right now. And this time, you deserve to read the blueprint.